And what is going on, YouTube? Welcome to another episode of Hit This News. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into the channel. Now, we're going to kick the video off with Nicki Minaj. Now, Nicki, unfortunately, is being sued by a West Hollywood jeweler by the name of Rose-Arc Jewelry Store. Now, basically, they are saying that her stylist, Brett Nelson, signed a contract with the jewelry store to loan Nicki Minaj some jewelry so that she can make a few public appearances. Now, the two reportedly had an agreement that the jewelry had to be returned by a certain date and time. Now, in the lawsuit, Rose-Arc claims that Nicki's stylist did not return the 66 pieces of jewelry by the return date. Now, Rose-Arc also claims that once the jewelry was finally returned, two of the items were actually damaged. Now, I'm pretty sure that the damages were discussed by the owners and Nicki Minaj's stylist, but her attorney says that they have never received any paperwork stating any damages to any of the jewelry that was returned back to the jewelry store. Now, Nicki's attorney also claims that this jewelry store is only doing this just to try to get some clout for their business, get some promotion. I mean, both parties look terrible. I mean, if Nicki doesn't return people jewelry on time and damage, other jewelers may not lend her jewelry, and it looks bad on the jewelry shop because if you're just going to put people on blast for clout, people may not do business with you. So I don't know, man. Hopefully they'll come to some type of agreement where everybody's happy. So we got Benny the Butcher. Now, Benny says that he was so close to getting a Jay-Z verse. Now, he had explained to Joe Budden that Jay-Z had an idea for them to work together. It was something that he was thinking about, but he just didn't quite get to hear the idea. Here you go.
I flew out there. They hit me. It was like, yo, Hov got an idea of a song that he wanted to do with you. And I went out there and I stayed for 3 days. Right. I went out there and I stayed for 3 days waiting on a phone call. And then the day that I linked up with him, I'm just kicking it with him. We having drinks and shit. He didn't mention the song. So I brought it up. I'm like, yo, you said you had an idea of it. He was like, oh, yeah, this is what I wanted to tell you. And as soon as he said that, somebody's like, yo, we need you. And they called him over here and he left and we never got brought up again. it's like 2-3 years ago.
Dang, bro. And that'd have been wow. Benny the Butcher featuring Hov song, that would have been so crazy. If that was the idea, for sure, man. What's up with you, Benny? You messing up features, man. You had the Drake feature. I don't know what happened. You dropped the ball on that one, bro. But hey, man, you never know. We might still get that Jay featuring Benny or Benny featuring Jay. We might still get it, man. Just keep our fingers crossed. I believe it's gonna happen. I believe it. So finally, the arrest of the woman who basically murdered this young lady by the name of Ajika Owens. All right, beautiful sister. Yeah, man, her name is Susan Lawrence. She's 58 years old. She was arrested and ultimately charged with manslaughter, culpable negligence, battery, and assault. Now, many people feel like she should have been charged with way more than that, but the state of Florida has some of the most outrageous laws, and I'm not saying that her charges aren't racially influenced. I'm not ignorant at all how things can go, but I know that Florida has some of the most outrageous laws in America. I know here in New York, some of the crimes that I know that if you're charged with compared to Florida or some southern states, in New York, they would put you under the jail. No doubt about it. A lot of people were outraged that this lady wasn't immediately charged as soon as she was encountered by law enforcement and the story was explained. Now, County Sheriff Billy Woods had gave a bit of an explanation as to why she wasn't immediately charged as soon as they arrived. Take a listen.
The whole time we had only one side of the story, okay? We know that she shot through the door. Of course, on her side of the story, she makes claims that her life was being threatened. And the way the laws are written in this state, and this is what people need to understand, that our hands are tied in law enforcement in these cases where we are instructed that we cannot make the arrest because we have to rule out whether the shooting was justified or unjustified. So one of the biggest things is the interview of witnesses, and some of our witnesses were the mother's kids. And obviously we were not going to interview them that night after watching their mother be shot and killed, okay? So we did it on Monday morning so that they sat down with counselors. It wasn't my investigators, it's to do this the right way so that they can sit down and the counselors can talk to them to get the children to talk, and they did. And we got a bigger picture, and we got the full picture. And a lot of the hard work of my detectives wanted to ensure that we closed all the loopholes so that she would not have a defense of using stand the ground law. And this is not a stand the ground, okay? Let me make that clear. This was not. And it was an unjustified shooting of Miss Owen, and she's arrested for it.
So even after his statement, people are still calling BS, but I can completely understand because the state of Florida has that stand your ground law down there, and they have to make sure that all bases are covered. I know in my home state of New York, if you are accused of shooting someone, you're going to jail that day, right then and there. Like, they're not playing with you in New York. They will indict you that day. They liable to you liable to get indicted that night. I'm just saying, New York is just different. Other states, they have stand your ground laws. They want to make sure that you don't have a defense, especially when it's an unjustifiable homicide. The detectives, if they're doing their job, are supposed to make sure that you have absolutely no defense when you are in court. They want you to lose, they want you to get convicted, and they want you to go to jail. So if they're doing their job, they're going to make sure that all bases are covered. So we do hope that the Owens family gets the justice that they deserve. And man, it's just a sad story to even speak about, man. And the little 10-year-old boy really had to sit there and watch his mother get taken out like that. Like, that's just crazy, man. That's crazy. And that's all the news for right now, guys. If you like the video, one of the biggest ways that you can support this channel is by hitting that like button. And if you want to hear more of me, make sure that you hit the subscription button and turn on the post notifications by hitting that bell. I definitely appreciate y'all. I will catch y'all next, y'all. Until next video, peace.